Hi, everyone, and welcome to the first Rakuten Advertising Global Partnership Week. I'm Ceres Cueva, Head of Global Publisher Partnerships at Rakuten Advertising, and I'm thrilled to be joining you. We understand that a network is only as strong as the publishers that are a part of it, and that's why this week we're celebrating the diverse, globally reaching partners that make up our network and the work they're doing in driving the affiliate industry forward. And here is a small snapshot of some of the partners that represent our 150,000 plus strong network. Thanks to the efforts of our publisher acquisition team, who are dedicated to finding and recruiting new publishers to our network, we're seeing an average 5,000 new publishers join our network each month. Some of these represent the ongoing growth and expansion in content, tech, finance, and payment partners. We will ensure that we continue to recruit and help optimize new, on-brand, and diverse partners into our ecosystem. I wanted to take the opportunity today to give you an update on our network and the team supporting our partners' growth. Our publisher partnerships team, who are dedicated to acquiring, onboarding, activating, and nurturing our publishers, have expanded to a team of 40. Our team is spread across the globe in our core markets of the US, Canada, Brazil, the UK, France, Germany, China, South Korea, Singapore, and Australia, and are supporting 23 high growth markets across the Americas, Europe, and Asia. Combined, this team speak 12 languages, meaning we're fully equipped to help broker new partnerships between publishers and advertisers without language barriers. The reduction of language barriers allows us to work more collaboratively with our partners and to work together in advancing the affiliate industry. We believe that part of driving the industry forward is diversity within partnerships. Diverse partnerships meet a broader range of needs and also allow for a more collaborative approach to achieving goals. We have two great examples of this today. The first, Naver, the Google of South Korea. Naver can convert an advertiser's data feed into their required format, allowing local South Korean consumers to easily browse and shop on international sites. During the pandemic, Naver ran a live streaming campaign for one of our luxury clients, taking shoppers on a virtual trip to Paris. Next, we have card-linked partners, which are a strong area of growth for many of our clients. They allow advertisers to target consumers based on historical transactional data with both an individual retailer and relevant competitors, serving bespoke incentives and offers. Through a partnership with Reward, Harvey Nichols were able to tailor their campaign around new, existing, and lapsed customers, with different offers being served to each audience group. In an effort to drive the industry forward, we launched the Rakuten Advertising International Collective, or RAKE, earlier this year. RAKE brings together experienced global affiliate marketers from publishers and advertisers to discuss and promote how affiliate marketing can be used as a strategic digital channel. Together with RAKE, we've produced a 5-stage blueprint for high-performance affiliate marketing, containing insights from Harvey Nichols, Microsoft, Reward, Beyond China, Retail Me Not, and Reward Style. For advertisers, the blueprint demonstrates the sophisticated mix of affiliate strategies that can be used throughout the customer journey, from discovery to conversion. And for publishers, it showcases how you can work more collaboratively with advertisers and the strategies and tools that you can implement to continue monetizing your offering. Finally, As we commit to driving the industry forward, we're ensuring that performance is done right. This means having the right partners and access to the right data, products fueled by the right technology, including an enhanced publisher dashboard and continued investment in publisher tools and technology, along with driving the adoption of in-app tracking with advertisers. And we're providing strategic guidance from the right people, a team dedicated to the growth and development of you, our publishers. We call this performance done right. On behalf of the Rakuten Advertising team, I'd like to once again welcome all of you to Global Partnership Week, where we celebrate all of our partners.
All right, thank you, Ceres, and welcome again, as Sarah said, to Global Partner Connect, part of Rakuten Advertising's Global Partnership Week. My name is Chris Schell, Director of Publisher Acquisition, and today's 60-minute virtual session is hosted regionally and will focus on latest trends, strategies, and innovations. The remaining portions of this session will include a deeper analytical dive into latest e-commerce trends, followed by an interactive publisher panel featuring 4 of some of the most innovative publishers within the industry. To continue, I would like to introduce Chris Haas, Vice President of Campaign Optimization. Chris leads a veteran analytics department dedicated to optimizing our clients' marketing campaigns. His team helps our clients identify e-commerce trends within their specific product and/or service verticals, assisting with long-term strategy and goal setting. Over to you, Chris.
Excellent. Thank you, Chris, and thank you all for joining us today. Again, my name is Chris Haas. I am the Vice President of Rakuten Advertising, and we are a global team, as Chris mentioned, of about 40 plus analysts dedicated to helping our clients meet and exceed their specific affiliate marketing goals. I began my career here at Rakuten Advertising as a merchant-facing analyst back in 2007, when we were known as Linkshare. We were a mighty team of 5 analysts at that time. To their credit, Rakuten immediately recognized the value of analytical services in the channel and has consistently prioritized investment in both the growth of our team, as well as the tools necessary to provide our clients with premium analytical affiliate marketing services. And today, I am going to share some of that. So, our team is constantly keeping tabs on general trends across many of our product and publisher categories in hopes of identifying opportunities for our clients and our partnerships to maximize return on ad spend and/or achieve other particular goals that they may have. To the consternation of our stellar creative and design teams, my team is not in the practice of making very pretty visualizations for ourselves. What I'm sharing today is something we use internally all the time, which is my way of apologizing for these internal heat maps that are a bit of an eye chart. But they tell a great story, and that's what I want to do today. So these heat maps, and we'll start with this one, are comprised of individual product and publisher category indices that we use over time to better understand shifts in seasonality, as well as sudden changes in the overall marketplace due to factors such as the COVID pandemic. So needless to say, since March of 2020, we have been looking at these a lot. The first view that we have here sets the stage with an overall timeline of events at the global network product category view. And this is transaction data, our proprietary transaction data from the platform. And just really, green is up, which is to say that it's above normal activity for that category at that time, and red is down in terms of normal performance for that time period historically. So as an example, you can see how almost all categories are green or above normal during the initial lockdown period in 2020. That was our new reality. And real quick, I'm going to just rattle through some of the product categories that hit high watermarks for us as a network during that time period. I don't think it's going to be a news to anyone. So these are beauty, education, food and drink, as well as the pet category in general. All of these saw very large increases during this period. Obviously we as a society, we're trying to figure out how to get our hands on the basic needs of items during lockdown that perhaps we didn't normally affiliate with the affiliate marketing channel. Also, I want to point out down at the bottom, that very last row is travel and vacation. It's very red, very low for their indice, which obviously corresponds with what we experienced 2 springs ago. So I'm going to go ahead and fast forward a little bit to the holiday period during last year. And there, almost everything is green. Again, corresponds with all the pent-up demand that we as consumers had last year. Also, that shopping in store was really not an option for many of us globally. So that makes sense. What our team is really focused on this year is trying to prepare for Q4. And what we did see this spring was what I would say is a return to normal across the different product categories, and what we would expect to see in a spring. Over the last few months in July and August, we have seen a bit of a pullback. And so what's driving that? Which categories are we not seeing that pullback in? In particular, the pet, travel, and luxury verticals seem to be maintaining their over indice growth even through July and August. So let's dive into that a little bit and figure out what's going on. To do that, first, I also want to show a similar view for the same period, but across our publisher categories. So these are the internal categories that we analysts utilize to get a general sense of what's happening across our different publishers within the network. And real quick, I'm just going to rattle them off. The publisher categories that we assign, this is our own internal proxy for publishers, are content publishers, coupon and voucher sites, deals and comparison shopping engine publishers, loyalty and reward publishers, sort of a general catch-all shopping genre for publishers, and then finally sub-networks, which we also identify and break out. And here I just want to point out, if we fast forward to this past spring through August, that one thing that's very clear in the data is that consumers have, since the beginning of the pandemic, really striven to utilize the content sites, the sub-networks, as well as general shopping sites for discovery. A definite intent, we think, to discover either new items that have come on market that they can't go see in person somewhere, or more likely, and as you'll see as we go further through this, they're really focused on getting out of the house and experiencing something besides looking at Zoom. And there's a lot of content out there and a lot of niche sub-networks that are focusing on things like experience or apparel if they happen to start returning to the office. And that really plays out as we go through the rest of this data. So now what we're going to do is we're going to pick a few of these specific publisher categories and cross-reference them with the product categories. So first up are the content publisher trends. And so this is just content publisher data from January of 2020 through August of this year, and then indiced across the product categories. And really similar story across all the major publisher categories during the initial lockdown last year. Beauty, electronics, food and drink, and pets. Although beauty has always been a big category, it even got bigger during the lockdown, which I think we're all aware of. Everyone's just trying to figure out how to get a hold of basic necessities. We're also trying to build out our offices at home. So electronics saw a pretty healthy boost, including in the content publisher realm, and so on and so forth, pets as well. During the holidays, again, especially given most of us could not shop in person during the holiday season last year, we did see a big boost across practically every product category, especially in the content publisher area, aside from travel and vacation, which again makes all the sense in the world. And then finally, 2021, excuse me. So I had mentioned earlier, we're starting to see a bit of a pullback by consumers the latter half of this summer for various reasons. Content has maintained to a certain degree within very specific categories. And I want to call those out, especially apparel, gifts, and luxury items, as well as travel. So we think this lines up pretty well with consumers returning back to the office, at least on some occasions, and really needing to beef up their choices in terms of apparel, as well as, you know, there's a lot of pent-up demand still for travel. And obviously things are changing but month by month in terms of what's open and what's not. But it would seem consumers are pretty dedicated in at least planning out that big vacation they've been putting off for a while. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and now go look at same treatment, but for the coupon voucher publisher trends. So here we are seeing, you know, again in the lockdown, across all coupon and voucher publishers, similar categories are just really getting boosted. Is actually a bit longer in terms of the boost that we saw from April until July of 2020. So clearly a lot of consumers have had a lot of experience in their favorite sites to go to. They were learning how to utilize those for more of the day-to-day necessities that perhaps they had not been utilizing those publishers for in the past. And then during the holiday season, per usual, big drivers for performance across the network, except for travel and vacation. In 2021, July and August, we're seeing a pullback. I would love to get feedback if your data says something different. Again, this is global data, so we're matching all the network data together. But in the last few months, what we've seen is that consumers are really sticking with, through coupon and voucher sites, the pet trend. So that seems like a long-term behavioral change where more consumers are just going to rely on online purchasing a lot of their needs for their furry friends, as well as big boost ongoing within the coupon voucher site for travel and vacation. So definitely that genre of publishers have really honed in on that very current need for consumers. And then finally, we're going to look at loyalty and rewards. So loyalty and rewards, we see the similar boost during the lockdown. It's a bit more sporadic, and I want to underscore this. Again, these are loyalty sites. So we are all very loyal to, excuse me, a few loyalty or reward sites. To boost these sites up to an indices of green requires a fair amount of increase in traffic by consumers to those sites. So we still see that it's a bit of a lag. It wasn't immediate like the others in April, but in May we see it picks up quite a bit. And so at that point, I think that a lot of both publishers and consumers were figuring out, okay, I can go get this, or I can offer a consumer that to help with these new necessities during the lockdown. Fast forward to the holidays, again, everything's up except for travel and vacation. I do want to underscore, however, that specifically in the loyalty and reward publisher genre, we saw a substantial increase in average order value during the holiday shopping season, which is to say the carts, there were a few extra items in those carts, more than we were even expecting. And then we'll go ahead and fast forward to the last few months, and you see really the indices have slowed down quite a bit. So we see, again, some more cautious behavior by consumers, aside from travel and vacation, essentially. So what do we do with all this data? Well, our team is keeping an eye on consumer trends, and we're really focused on what we think consumers are going to do in terms of tipping which indices in Q4, such as travel packages, dining experiences, music and recreation packages. And again, that one's really in flux. I don't know about you guys, but I actually got to go to a couple outdoor concerts this summer, but we don't know exactly what's going to happen this winter. There are more packages being offered through subscription type entertainment companies that I think may get picked up by the affiliate marketing channel in general. Other issues that we are tracking and that we think are going to make this holiday season unique are the inventory challenges related to both logistics and microchip headwinds. Take a quick drink. Consumers are already being encouraged to start their holiday shopping much earlier than in the past. And we're beginning to see that in the terms of the click traffic already. I think this is legitimate. We are, the logistics and microchip issues in particular are impacting inventory across the board for almost everything that is an animate object. So, my general recommendation is to plan on, if you haven't already, getting those consumers looking at the deals, looking at the opportunities as soon as possible. Obviously, two other big factors that are going to guide consumer behavior in Q4 will be the risk of another winter surge of COVID infection. And the real question there is, will physical stores get back in the holiday game or not? So that's definitely something to look out for, I think, especially in certain regions of the globe. And then finally, how will inflation impact price point on products and services? I know inflation is not the most exciting topic to talk about, but it is making big news even just today. And I do think that it is going to impact the price point on a lot of holiday shopping. What does that mean? Will consumers pull back, or will they rely even more so on online publishers to help them find the best holiday value? I very much think it's the latter. I think your consumers, I think your viewers are going to come visit more often to get the advice and help that you offer to manage their way through the gambit this holiday season. So, and with that, Chris, back to you.
Okay, thanks, Chris. Definitely some insightful trends that our audience can build upon further. A lot of publisher models that you went into. It's very helpful. Next up, I would like to introduce Emily Castaneda, Senior Director of Publisher Partnerships. Emily will moderate the next portion of our session and will now introduce the publisher members of our panel. So over to you, Emily.
Thanks, Chris. I really appreciate it. So as Chris said, my name is Emily Castaneda, and I'm the Senior Director of Publisher Partnerships here at Rakuten Advertising in the US. And I am beyond thrilled to be hosting this panel. Now, in the spirit of Global Partnership Week, at Rakuten Advertising, we truly believe that our partners are the star of the show. So that being said, they're going to be the star of the show today. We have 4 publisher partners who have so graciously volunteered to talk with us today. They're going to share some really great insights and perspective from all sorts of different publisher models. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Alexis Caldwell, Head of Business Development at LTK, Brianna Hall, Director of Business Development, Strategy and Operations at Slick Deals, Jen Goodwin, Director of Partnerships at Honey by PayPal, and Saad Siddiqui, CEO of Bonsai. So thank you all so much for being here. We really appreciate it. We're so happy to see everyone's face. Now, I think we can all say that we've been through a lot, both personally and professionally, these past couple of years. So just going along with that theme and even looking at the data that Chris just went through, what do all of you think has changed in shopping behavior since the pandemic? And given that, what are your strategies as a partner going into Q4 and beyond? And I'll let Jen take the lead on this one.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate being here. I think when we think back to March of 2020, when the world kind of just shut down in one day, everything changed. We all saw it happen overnight, and there was a lot of scrambling around from the brick and mortar stores to figure out how to all of a sudden shift that revenue over to online. And so at Honey, we had a lot of advertisers reaching out to us. While it was a stressful time for many of us, obviously having a pandemic for the first time in our lives, we were there to be able to really help come up with great ideas to leverage that revenue from new money that we hadn't seen before, and help our advertisers really get as much as we could on, online as fast as possible. I think Honey is a very big player in the space, which is nice. We can drive a lot of revenue and we can also work quickly. So we really sat down with each individual advertiser and laid out, what are your KPIs? What do you need immediately, and how can we help you? And then laid out all the different products that we had, Honey Offers being one of them. Is a really quick and easy way to do, move revenue and product quickly. So we did that with Honey Gold. We were also able to help our advertisers as well. And really just to be there and to be a true partner, to think and listen and talk and strategize together, whether it took, a couple hours or a couple weeks, we were there to always be there and do the best that we could to help them. So that's really what we did from the get-go. And now we continue to, change strategy and work with advertisers as they're starting to have problems with shipment and delays. And so we're always trying to innovate and create new opportunities to share with those advertisers.
Awesome. Thanks, Jen. Does anyone else have anything that resonates in that sort of topic?
Sure, I totally echo what Jen said. I mean, we all really felt a huge shift in March of 2020. I know from an influencer perspective, we rebranded to LTK, but formerly known as Reward Style. We're a platform for digital lifestyle influencers to connect with brands and consumers. So we really saw influencer and interest in influencers go bananas when the pandemic hit. And I think part of that, what we've really discovered is that when the stores closed, consumers who would typically go to the store and interact with the salespeople no longer had those salespeople. And so influencers kind of became this de facto digital salesperson for consumers. And so they really kind of filled the void of helping guide that consumer to the products and services that ultimately they want to buy. And I think that, and from what we've seen, that hasn't slowed down. Even as restrictions have lifted, it's continued to be a really significant trend. And we're really seeing kind of the acceleration of a lot of trends, like obviously people moving to mobile, interacting with new social channels like TikTok. We're seeing that happen so much more quickly now. We knew it was happening, but it's just happening so much faster. So we're working with our partners to make sure that they're all up to speed and have all the right tracking in place, and that they have a really thoughtful influencer strategy, because they want to meet consumers obviously where they are.
That's super interesting to hear it that way. I didn't even think about losing that sort of one-on-one at a department store, at your favorite store where you're asking questions, and sort of transitioning that to e-commerce. So that's really interesting perspective. Thanks so much. And then as far as Brianna, on your side, when it comes to Slick Deals, how do you feel that your audience sort of shifted when this all happened?
Yeah, so it's a great question. I'll echo a few points of that have already been made, but obviously with the accelerated move to digital from in-store, our shoppers have been always very savvy, but I think with that migration, that accelerated migration, people started realizing all of the accessibility and like pricing and product research. All of a sudden there was an increased focus on exploring options from a consumer standpoint. And so I think, for us, we saw not only in industry trends, but even internally, an increased, I guess, chance that a consumer might try a new product or brand at any given moment. And for us, what that translated to from like an advertiser support perspective, it really meant that we were goading our advertisers and our partners to really focus more on that discovery piece and the top of funnel kind of brand marketing piece, which I think historically in affiliate, we are very, very focused on the transaction, right? The conversion value, what is the volume? Well, with the pandemic and with that migration to digital and everyone exploring their options more, you really have to be, as an advertiser, more aggressive and proactive about where you're appearing, not only at the top of the funnel, but also consistently throughout the funnel as well. So that's kind of the approach that we've been taking. It's very important for us to, and I think it goes along with the trends that Chris was showing earlier, but it's really important for advertisers to really start valuing, how do I show up for the consumer at the beginning of their shopping journey, right? Before they even know that they're looking, really. So that's kind of what we saw.
Awesome. That's super helpful and very interesting. And I think you're right. I think it's even as myself as a consumer, I think I was going down crazy rabbit holes and buying things that I probably would have never bought if I wasn't stuck at home. So thanks for that perspective. So this next question is actually going to be for you. So as a publisher living in this new world of e-commerce, what do you think are the most important things for brands and advertisers to actually build into their affiliate strategy?
Yeah, absolutely. We've got lots of things to say about that, but just quick comment. I echo everything that everyone has said so far. I think one of the biggest learnings for Bonsai, which is kind of in the business of facilitating checkout at that point of discovery or as early as possible in the affiliate world, we observed that there was this new willingness of consumers to actually buy from an advertiser at the point as a point of sale, which is a totally new behavior. You would have never thought that a consumer would check out from a brand like BuzzFeed and they'd have like a direct kind of retailing relationship. So that's been a really interesting insight. We're even seeing that, there's possibility that those discovery platforms might actually be better at driving conversions than traditional merchant sites. So there's a ton of value to that kind of point of view. I think our overall comment on how to make the best of the trends that are emerging kind of post-COVID is that consumers are looking for a ton of value explained up front. When we see publishers that implement, or I guess advertisers is the right word in Rakuten language, but advertisers that use the Bonsai stack, the ones that have a really clear point of view about why you should buy this product, what the editorial kind of, how they editorialize it, reviews about the durability of a certain cosmetic product, for example, like all that goes into actually informing a consumer's decision to purchase. So we find that, for example, when content is created around a beauty product and the writer can actually speak to the quality of the product over a 7-day time period, and maybe a dermatologist is referenced, that article will way higher convert than any article that might just be a listicle of different affiliate links. So I think the emphasis is on providing consumers value up front and helping them articulating to a consumer exactly how the product will be better for them. I think consumers are smart enough and savvy enough to navigate the web and get the answers they're looking for. So that's my general comment.
That's super interesting. And I like how you mentioned just those impulse buys, because again, I think there were situations where consumers and still are shopping in ways they didn't think they would have prior to 2020. So that's a really great perspective. Thanks so much. Is there anyone else on the panel that wants to speak to what they're thinking as far as from an advertiser or brand perspective, they would recommend building into affiliate strategy? And it could be holiday, it could be 2022 and beyond, whatever you are seeing as far as the space is concerned.
Well, I think just to add on to what was said by Saad, with the viability of having consumers potentially transact earlier in the funnel or in the traditional funnel, right? They read something, they read an article, and then immediately are willing to make the conversion. I think, the way that I look at that is just at its core, an accelerated shopping journey, right? But if you're a brand, right, for us, the most important thing or the biggest recommendation that we make is that if you really want to kind of take advantage of that propensity to convert after being introduced to a piece of content or, whatever have you, something that would, again, traditionally be higher in the funnel, you really have to make sure that you're present at every single step in that traditional funnel as well, right? Like you're giving the consumer all the support that they need to convert, right? So whether it's like, for us, we really focus on not only the content that introduces the product or brand, but also like the pricing consideration, the product quality consideration, the social validation is really important for us, being like a community of social shoppers. But really being able to facilitate all of that to make sure that you're really leaning into that newfound like willingness to convert very quickly. You also, as an advertiser, have to do your part to make sure that you're giving them all of the pieces that, you know, are part of that traditional kind of consideration and evaluation stage as well, so that you can really realize those very quick conversions and that streamlined shopping journey.
That makes total sense. Thanks so much. And I guess, Alexis and Jen, do you feel that from your perspective, that's sort of in alignment? Do you feel like it's pricing? Do you feel like it's free shipping or certain types of offering or inventory? Is there something you noticed shift that became super important that you feel like brands and advertisers should take into consideration?
I definitely think that the traditional funnel as we know it has shifted quite a bit. You know, consumers are going from their laptop to their mobile device to their, you know, TV in some cases, to kind of interacting with content in a lot of different places and gaining inspiration and discovery from many different sources. So when we're having conversations with our brand partners, we're talking about tracking, making sure that they're able to track every point of transaction and associate that back with their affiliate program. So for example, if a brand has an app, ensuring that they have affiliate tracking embedded in that app. And also attribution is really key. One of the really exciting trends that we've seen over COVID is brands realizing that influencer isn't just a branding and awareness channel, that it really can drive real revenue. And the way that that is measured is through affiliate linking. And that's really core. And so being able to make sure that attribution rules are set up to reward the discovery, points of discovery for those sales is really key, and definitely a really important point that we're kind of discussing, and I think is coming out of COVID and sort of the shift of the overall funnel to sort of understand that consumers are interacting at different points in time with different content.
No, I totally agree with Alexis. And I also think on top of that, it's finding partners that you trust and testing with them. Because I think one thing we realized quickly is you have to test to figure out what works and what doesn't. Not every advertiser is the same, and not their users aren't the same either. And I think with Honey, you know, we already know we have the millennial base, right? So they're on their phones, they're on their computers, they're on their tablets, and they're not afraid to purchase. They're going to purchase off their phone. And obviously we've all seen the shift much quicker than we had ever anticipated or expected, right? We were thinking in 5 years, we're going to see this lovely shift over to mobile and we'll be ready. Well, now we're here, and it kind of happened overnight, and we're still in the thick of it, and we're all still learning how to do it. But I think if you can trust your partners and really rely on having these conversations and, you know, being vulnerable and saying, you know, this is where we're really great. Maybe our back end isn't as strong, as robust as it needs to be. You know, how can you help us? But I do think making sure that you diversify with what partners you have. We all know content is super important. We all know that loyalty, we have people that just love getting the rewards, and that makes a lot of sense. But it's about really finding that perfect niche and testing it all out to make sure that, you know, it does work, and then readjusting as you figure out what works best for, you know, for the individual advertiser.
That makes complete sense. I love that. And I love that now it's interesting. I don't think we've really talked enough about how we were sort of fast forwarded into this new sort of technology space where we didn't realize these trends or these things would happen. I think even myself as a consumer, I shop now on apps more than I ever have. I was more of a desktop person. And now, given being inside and, you know, working and also having my phone on me, it really did change the way I shop as well. So that's super interesting. Great. Thank you, guys.
I think one thing to point out kind of about that, and to Jen's point about not everything necessarily working for everyone and being able to test and have that like kind of flexibility and nimble partner. One thing that's really important to point out that I think maybe goes a little people don't pay attention to it too much historically within affiliate, is also the fact that like we have such a more shopping experiences are so much more trackable now that they're all being done through apps, online, so on and so forth. And for affiliate, we have all that transaction data. So although there are some challenges with privacy laws and all this stuff and kind of navigating those, affiliates really have the power to lean into that data and targeting piece. And to Jen's point, like using that targeting and data strategically. So, whether that be transactional data or shopping behavior data, or just, to her point about like which consumers like to shop in which ways, right? Like there are insights that affiliate in particular, more than any other channel has. Because of how connected and streamlined that the consumer's shopping experience is. So that's another thing that I think is just worth calling out, that advertisers, as they are looking to strategize their affiliate campaigns, really think about how you can be testing against all of that different data. Again, be it like a behavioral, be it a, shopping interest or affinity, or even like a, transactional basis for your segments. So.
Totally. I love that. I think it's true. Affiliate has changed so much. I mean, I think that's probably why we're all here, because every day it's something new and the technology is different. And I think data has always been sort of the baseline of that. And you're exactly right. Consumers want personalized experiences. They want something that's relevant to them. So I think that's a great point. Thanks so much, Bree. So actually, I'll go back to you, Saad. This next question is kind of expanding off that with technology, data, and e-commerce trends. Saad, what do you think will be huge for holiday? Kind of what are your predictions for the consumer for holiday 2021 and even going into 2022 when it comes to new technology or shopping experiences?
Yeah, I think Chris made an excellent point about the jury's still out on whether or not consumers go back to the stores this holiday season. I think that will change this heat map considerably. Our prediction or our view is on social commerce. We think that it's super nascent in the US market. It needs to be developed. There's a lot of consumer intrigue around it, but it doesn't seem like any one of the platforms have yet, the major platforms at least, have found their stride yet in terms of how they build that out for consumers. I think that there are some technical challenges around how merchants and partners can interface with those platforms that remain to be solved. We're certainly building products and technologies to help facilitate some of those technical gaps, but I think until the platforms start working more closely with the merchants and the partners in the space, it's going to be really hard to bring consumers brands that they actually want to buy from those channels. So I think the social commerce has been so far a little bit hamstrung by the technical side of things. But I would love to see holiday shopping erupt on social commerce in the US this holiday season. I don't think it'll happen this year. I think we can feasibly expect it to become a bit more normal by 2022. Again, once most of those integrations are complete. But we'd love to personally at Bonsai see just kind of the proliferation of social commerce. And LTK and other platforms are doing a lot of great work to actually popularize and drive adoption on these platforms. It'd be great if the technology caught up to the consumer demand.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, Alexis, how do you feel about that? Do you kind of feel, and does that resonate with you?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I mean, from your lips to God's ears. Yes. We're all about that. I mean, it's all about meeting consumers where they are. And that's where everyone is on social. And that's where, discovery is happening. And so it needs to, there needs to be, smooth, streamlined ways for consumers to complete their purchase journey. One of the things that I'm really concerned about for 2021 or like really hyped about is inventory. We've been reading a lot of studies about how supply chains are going to be strained. this holiday season. And so we're talking to our partners about kind of strategizing holiday and maybe setting up campaigns so that they're a little earlier in the season. So we're doing a little bit more of a pull forward in terms of when we're recommending campaigns go live instead of just waiting till like Black Friday, Cyber Monday, so that there's a little less kind of concern around consumers getting their products in time. And so that's kind of one of the big things that I think we're focused on for holiday this year.
That makes total sense. I think, yeah, that's probably on everyone's mind going into this holiday, I feel like. Jen or Bree, how do you feel about predictions going into holiday? What do you think will be huge?
I agree with both Saad and Alexis, but I also think that we need to, just what Alexis said, right? We need to start earlier. I think everyone needs to start earlier. The supply chains is a problem. People are talking about that there won't be as big as sales or deals as we thought there would be come Black Friday, Cyber Monday. A lot of the big box stores that we all know and sometimes love and sometimes hate, the big brands that are making a lot of money, they're all talking, if you go in and you read any article, the Targets, the Walmarts, the Kohl's, the Amazons of the world, they're going to be releasing their Black Friday ads. Some are talking like at the middle of October or even beginning of October. And they're really talking about if you're looking for stuff and you need to purchase it, you need to buy now. So that's kind of what we've been telling our advertisers. Don't just rely on the traditional Black Friday, Cyber Monday, because that could be out the window by the time we get to that date. So that's really what I'm looking and seeing. I also am interested. I know that we aren't quite there with a lot of people purchasing on social, but I do still see it happening. I mean, with millennial audiences, they are not afraid to purchase through social. I'm old compared to most of you on this panel, and I purchase through social. So I know we're doing it. I think we'll be surprised to see at the end of 2021 what we look at. I think we're going to actually see a bigger jump on social than what we've seen in the past. And so that will be interesting to kind of be able to sit back down and look over the data and say, okay, this did happen. So I actually am going to say, I think it will definitely, there will be a spike in the social purchasing.
I like that.
So I agree with most everything that's been said. I think it's important to note that last year was a really big step up in how early the holiday season or holiday shopping season started. And a big reason for that was the placement of Amazon Prime Day, right? After Prime Day, there was kind of this like continuous shopping, like, oh, we're in the holidays now, and that's not here this year as far as we know, right? However, the supply chain issues and the logistical issues, like everyone has said so far, have pulled, or made us feel like we need to pull the shopping season forward a little bit. And that may be true, but it's different in nature than it has been in the past, right? It's not, hey, our shopping season is just starting early, like let's go, really big on all of these super aggressive sales really early. It's more so, hey, we need to shop early because we don't know if these sales are going to be available. We don't know how much product is going to be available, so on and so forth. So it's different in nature. And I think while it is definitely smart to start those campaigns early, it's important to also realize that, that very transactional value, the volume that we usually see with Black Friday may look different, or the shopping season in general may look different because of those limitations, right? We haven't seen this before necessarily. And so, while we do want to pull those campaigns forward and start working on them early, I would say it's also really important to focus on taking advantage of all of that traffic, all of those eyeballs, in the most strategic way possible, which may entail looking at the time period, the shopping period, in more of a branding perspective, as opposed to just focusing on like the volume of what Black Friday typically brings. The traffic is still going to be there. And yes, we can start early, but also we need to be thinking about, okay, how do we use all of this traffic and all of these eyeballs in the most strategic way possible to make sure that regardless, our advertisers are getting value out of the time period and out of all of that traffic. So really covering your bases when it comes to like branding, product launch, like all of these like kind of top of funnel concepts, really like covering your bases there as well to make sure you see value from the time period, regardless of logistics, regardless of the supply chain.
That makes total sense. Yeah, I don't know about you guys. I'm still trying to figure out like what I'm going to be for Halloween, and I already am like having to think about holiday shopping. It's really stressing me out. I'm like, I want to finish my Halloween candy first. I don't want to have to do all this. But that makes complete sense. I think that completely resonates in it, and especially looking at last year's holiday, I think we learned a lot from that going into this holiday. So thank you so much for that. Well, I know we only have a few minutes left, but I have one final question for all of you guys. So if you had to narrow it down to just one thing that you feel is the most important for consumers or your audiences this holiday season, what would that be?
I can go. I would tell you to shop early. I think things are going to be less spiky this year on Black Friday and Cyber Monday. And at least for me, I have kids, I have girls, and I know I have specific things that they want. So I'm not going to wait to see what kind of deal I can get. I'm going to pay attention, right? I think I obviously use Honey. They have drop lists. I can see the trends of where the prices are coming and going. But to me, if you really have something specific you want to buy, shop early and get it before it's gone.
Love it. Sal, do you want to go next?
Yeah, I would say look at what publishers are talking about. They spend a lot of time researching, testing, trying out products, and there's probably products that are about to become quite popular that pretty influential publishers have already talked about or editorialized. So start searching what editors have to say. They really feel strongly and passionately about the different products they plug, and we get to see the other side of the editorial review process, and it's pretty rigorous. Like there's a lot of editorial control around what products they're promoting. So trust editors at these really amazing publications. They really care about what they're recommending.
Alexis, you want to go next?
Sure. I would say, I mean, there are so many things, but this is like such a big one for our advertiser partners, and I can't beat this drum enough, but like tracking efficacy, making sure that everything is like working before the big holiday push, making sure that every point of conversion is tracking appropriately, and that you're crediting your publishers accurately.
Awesome. And Bree?
Yeah, from the consumer standpoint, I will say I am a slick dealer at heart. So look for the best value. And I think it goes along with what Jen and Saad both said, right? We're as publishers really doing our due diligence and trying to seek that out for our consumers. But yeah, really in this time where everything is available and everyone's online and, all these considerations, like I think it's important to remember that, while you're shopping, you're looking for the best value, regardless of price, product quality to price point, so on and so forth. So looking for that value, regardless of brand preferences, and, looking for value, looking for that editorial direction and value.
Great. That's awesome. You guys have been amazing. This has been super informative. I can't tell you how much we appreciate you as partners for participating and for sharing all of your knowledge and perspective with us. One thing I do want to just sort of plug is we do have a publisher partnership quiz this Friday at 1 Eastern and 10 Pacific, which will literally be all fun and games. So we'd love to see everyone there. The first 25 to register and attend will receive a food voucher, which is super exciting. So just grab a drink, come sit down and let your hair down and have a good time this Friday. And then looking into October, we are actually going to be hosting our virtual Golden Link Awards. October 7th at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. It should be a really great time. We have a comedian hosting, so we'd love to see everyone's face there. It's free of charge. Feel free to register at our website. And thank you again, everyone, for attending. It's been awesome seeing everyone's face. We really appreciate it. Everyone have a wonderful day. Thanks so much.